WWE Battlegrounds is here, and its arcade take on pro wrestling is a huge departure from the annual 2K series we've all sadly grown accustomed to. In Battlegrounds, characters are split into 5 different classes, with different moves, strengths, and weaknesses. My name is Big Head Code, and today I'll be taking a quick look at the 5 different character classes in WWE Battlegrounds. Note that some characters have some unique moves, but for this video I'll be covering the shared moves of each class and their general strategies. First off is the All-Rounder. This class is average in all skill categories but excels when it comes to raising their crowd meter and features techniques that can lock and even lower their opponent's crowd meter. This meter is crucial to victory. When filled, it gives your character an edge in pinning and submission minigames. Like high flyers and technicians, they have the ability to do diving attacks outside the ring. Chin Up is an uppercut attack that has a ton of startup but has the ability to hit grounded opponents as long as they are on the left side of your character. So this can be used as a follow-up to any grapple attacks or any moves that leave your opponent grounded. Shooting Star is a fairly straightforward Falcon Punch style move. It's good for crowd control when in a multi-man match, but it has a lot of startup and leaves you vulnerable to counterattack. Reboot is the first of the all-rounder moves that affect your opponent's crowd meter. When you hit your opponent with this drop kick, it will ground your opponent and they will flash red. When followed up with a move from the turnbuckle, your character will perform a taunt and you will lock your opponent's crowd meter at its current position for a short period of time. This move requires no stamina, but it's easy to block or parry, so it's best to use this move when your opponent is stunned. Hit the Floor is the second of the all-rounder's crowd meter moves. After an Irish Whip, Hit the Floor will trip your opponent, leaving them grounded, and they will flash red. If followed by a normal strike, your character will instead perform a spinning elbow drop. This hit will subtract 10 from your opponent's crowd meter. Like Reboot, this move also requires no stamina to perform. Killer Corkscrew is a flying neck breaker that will leave your opponent downed and in a red flashing state. If you move your character to any corner and perform a taunt, you will get a huge boost to your crowd meter. Constantly lowering and locking your opponent's crowd meter while taunting after the Killer Corkscrew are the keys to using the all-rounder class efficiently. Next up is the High Flyer, which as the name implies utilizes high flying attacks off both the turnbuckles and ropes. Though they have the lowest health and punch stats in the game at 1 star each, they have the highest speed, stamina, and aerial combat stats. They also have access to running throws and have the ability to dive to the outside of the ring. Springboard attacks are performed by pressing kick or grab while running towards the ropes. All springboard and turnbuckle attacks are unblockable, but can be parried if your opponent is grounded. These do a ton of damage, so try to perform springboard attacks on wake up or when running away from an opponent. The startup is fast enough to evade certain attacks, and the follow-up attack will be inescapable. Both the Whiplash and Knee High specials are fairly straightforward and best used for crowd control in multi-person matches. The Forked Lightning Kick is a great multi-hitting special move best used when your opponent is dazed, but it leaves you extremely vulnerable if used otherwise. Both of the High Flyer special grapples, Sweet Dream, Slingshot, and Get a Grip, leave your opponents open for follow-up like a springboard or turnbuckle attack. Setting your opponents up for unblockable diving attacks is the key to victory with this class. Their speed stat is high enough to constantly evade most opponents, allowing for springboard counterattacks while they pursue you. The running throw also comes out almost instantly, giving your opponent little time to counter it. The Technician class has the highest stats in submission and throws, and has access to the only special move that transitions into a submission. They also have the ability to lower their opponent's mobility for a short period of time. They are unable to perform running punch attacks, but instead gain a running double kick. Like High Flyers, Technicians have access to throw moves while running and can dive outside of the ring. Fist of the Dragon is a standard striking special move. It has fairly quick startup and does a decent amount of damage. Power Surge does less damage than the Fist of the Dragon, but you gain armor during the startup of this attack, so it's a good way to get out of a sticky situation. It also hits grounded opponents and restands them. The Power Wrench is a unique special move that leads into a submission hold. This is a great way to steal a victory out of nowhere if your crowd meter is high enough. Kneel Before the King is a unique move that leaves your opponent in a limping state, reducing their mobility for a short period of time. This is great when used against high flyers as it limits their arsenal of attacks. Some Technician characters have the unique ability to automatically counterattack after parrying, leaving their opponents in a stunned state. This can be followed up with a running double kick, followed by a Power Surge to restand your opponent and immediately begin pressure. With strong parry abilities, attacking a Technician is very risky, and their ability to slow down their opponents and submit them out of nowhere make Technicians a very strong character class. Brawlers have the unique ability to pull weapons seemingly out of nowhere. They have above average health and stamina but excel at using weapons and randomly have the highest kick stat in the game. The Brawler's first 2 special moves, Deep Fake and Feet First, are fairly standard. Deep Fake is a punch that has extremely long startup, and Feet First is a drop kick that also has a ton of startup. Brawlers can be hit out of the starting animation of both moves, so use them wisely. If you're able to connect with a deep fake, you will leave your opponent stunned and open for a follow-up attack. The kitchen sink is a unique special move that sees the brawler pull out 3 random weapons and attack their opponent. This isn't a natural combo, as your opponent can block the oncoming attacks. Thunder Hammer is a unique special throw that gives the brawler a toy hammer, allowing for 3 follow-up attacks. Submission Psych Out does a small amount of damage but turns your opponent around and leaves them open for a follow-up attack. If you have enough stamina, you can follow up with a Thunder Hammer or feet first. Strangely, the kitchen sink and deep fake both have a tendency to whiff when behind your opponent. Landing Thunder Hammer and constantly pulling out weapons are the key to winning with the Brawler class. Last, we have the Powerhouse class. While having the lowest speed, stamina, kick, and aerial combat stats at 1 star each, they have the highest health and punch stat, and the second highest throw stat. Both Powerhouse and Brawlers are unable to perform running throws and dive attacks. Driving Range is a surprisingly quick punching attack. It doesn't have armor, but some attacks whiff when attempting to punish its starting animation. Big Boot is a standard kick special move that has a semi-long startup. But due to the Powerhouse having the lowest stamina stat, I'd suggest saving your meter for the class's third special move, Seismic Smash. Seismic Smash has an extremely long startup, but during the duration of the move your character has armor and the attack is unblockable. It also hits grounded opponents, sending them flying and placing them in a dizzy state, and grounds them again. This move can be used for guaranteed damage after almost every throw the Powerhouse has, with the exception of Special Delivery. Special Delivery is a unique throw where the Powerhouse hoists their opponent onto their shoulder and performs a follow-up attack in the corner. This can also be performed outside of the ring. Your opponent will immediately rise after this attack, so unfortunately you cannot follow it up with a Seismic Smash. After performing a finishing move, you can perform a Seismic Smash, followed by a second Seismic Smash. This combo can take away almost an entire life bar. Utilizing Driving Range to punish opponents and following up all throws with Seismic Smash are the keys to victory with the Powerhouse class. That's all for now, but if you want to see more on WWE Battlegrounds, please leave a like and a comment, and if you're new to the channel, maybe think about subscribing. My name is Big Head Code, thank you for watching.